Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Jai Shri Ram. Welcome to our next episode in our complete reading of Srimad Valmiki Ramayanam. In the previous episode, we saw how all the Rakshasas were telling to Ravana that they would go ahead and kill Sri Ramachandra as if they are capable enough to do that. Now we see how Vibhishana, who stood up there, he stopped all those Rakshasas from speaking, and now he is saying these things. Apyapayais tribhistata yordha praptum na sakyate tasya vikramaकालांस्तान् Yuktanahur Manishinaha. Vibhishana is telling to Ravana, oh ministers, he's first addressing all the ministers and he's saying, see, first understand, we should think of Sama, Dana and Vedhopayas when a person is not able to get a task done using these three upayas, only then we should go and use Dandopaya. This is what Swami Hanuman also thinks before breaking Ashokavana, right? Yes. And then he is also looking at all those ministers and saying, Pramatteshu abhiyukteshu devaina prahriteshu vikramastat siddhyanti parikshya vidhina krutaha. When you are attacking someone, if you want an easy victory, that person should not be expecting the attack. We can also win a war when the other party is being attacked by another army. For example, there are three armies. Army number one is attacking army number two. Now, even if you also go and attack army number two, winning would be easier because two is already fighting a war with one. That is the example he's saying. And third, when God is against them, we should think of all these, and only when we are convinced that one of these things are there, or one or more things of these are there, only then we should go and attack. But with Sri Ramachandra, none of these are there because Sri Ramachandra is apramatta. He himself is coming for the fight. And from whatever I know about Sri Ramachandra, he has already conquered his anger. So it is not easy to go and fight Sri Ramachandra. And now just look at this. Hanuman came here and went back. Was anyone of us able to stop? Was anyone able to detect that he is going to come in? So that's where we are not in a very favorable position here, and we should also understand the amount of sena that the opposition has and how much of fighting experience those people have, how good fighters they have. Now think of all these things and then think of the attack. And again, one more thing, kincha rakshasa rajasya ramenaapakrutam pura ajahara janasthanat yasya bharya yasasvinaha. Our Rakshasa king means Ravana. He brought Sri Ramachandra's wife from Janasthana to here. Now, why did our king do this? What was the mistake that Sri Ramachandra did that our king had to go ahead and do this? Kharo edyadi vruttastu saramena hatorane avasyam praninam prana rakshitavya yadhavalam. Now you might come back to me and say, oh, he killed Khara and all. Now you think of this. Why did Sri Ramachandra kill Khara? Khara went and attacked Sri Ramachandra. There was no option left for Sri Ramachandra but to kill him. Vibhishana is saying, as far as I am concerned, we are under attack because of this Sita Ma. Now please plan in such a way that you can send her back. That way, it would help us. Fighting with Sri Ramachandra at this particular point of time is of no use because he is on the side of Dharma. And he's also saying, once the Vanara attacks Lanka might actually lose all its sheen before Sri Ramachandra and the Vanara army cover Lanka with their weapons. Please let us bring in some sanity into our heads and let us ensure that we give back Sita Ma to Sri Ramachandra. Please, oh brother, please take Sita Ma, go and give her back to Sri Ramachandra. I am your bandhu, means I am your relative. That's why I am telling you. I am telling you what is truth. I am telling you what is good for you. Please go back and do this. Otherwise, Sri Ramachandra has got a lot of arrows and they might come and kill you. Give back Sita Ma so that we all can lead a happy life. Now Ravana, after listening to Vibhishana pachasrutva Ravana Raksheswara Visarjayitva Tan Sarvan Pravesa Swakam Gruham. Ravana immediately closed that day's sabha and he now quickly walked back to his personal quarters. Now Vibhishana followed. He entered Ravana's house and there were a lot of women. It was very well decorated. People were doing punyaha vachana and all. So Vibhishana actually goes there in the pratah kala. So we can assume that the next morning Vibhishana went there. They were doing punyaha vachana. There were a lot of pujas that were going on in that place. And there Vibhishana goes. Ravana was actually was seated there and he was radiating a lot of aura. and everybody were actually helping him worship. And Ravana, with his eyes, he shows a seat and asks Vibhishana to sit there. Vibhishana sits there, and now Vibhishana then says Jai Vijay Bhava and all to Ravana, and then he starts talking like this: O Shatru Samharaka, the moment Sita came here, I am only seeing bad omens. I am not at all seeing any good omens. The fire, the Agni is not coming to the extent it needs to come. There's a lot of dhumar, a lot of smoke around the fire, which is not correct. And I'm also seeing that there are a lot of ants, which ideally should not be there in any of the foods, but then I'm seeing them in the ghee that is used for homa. I'm seeing it in the payasa, or the sweet rice that is made for homa. The milk that is coming from the cows, it's getting broken, and the elephants are not having mada. The mada jalas that come out of elephants' heads, right? That is also not there. The horses are not even eating green grass. The donkeys, the camels, the zebras, all these are they are not happy. Or continuously they are crying. Their hair is constantly falling on the air, and these crows, they are coming in each of these places, and they were sitting there and they are doing all sorts of sounds. All these are not good. I'm seeing a lot of durnimittas. Hence, please don't get angry on me. It's not just me alone who is seeing all these bad things. These bad things are being seen by a lot of people around. But your ministers, they are very very afraid to tell anything of this sort to you. Hence, I am telling you the truth. So please don't get into a fight, O Ravana, because if you get into a fight, we might end up losing everything. So please listen to me. At this time, Lankeshwara or Ravanasura, he looks towards Vibhishana and says, I don't know why you are afraid. Sri Ramachandra can never get Sitama. Even if Sri Ramachandra is coming with all the Indraji Devatas, he will not be able to defeat me. And then he says, you may leave now. Now, after dismissing Vibhishana, Ravana, he now again thinks of what he needs to do, but because of all these bad things, his punya karma is now getting exhausted like anything. Because his punya karma is getting exhausted, he is not able to make a sound judgment. And then he again goes to the palace, and then he asks all the ministers to come. He again calls for a discussion on this subject, and he calls all his ministers, and Vibhishana also arrives there so that he also can take part in that wonderful discussion. And there's a lot of description that is given here about how Ravana goes to Mantragraha and all, that I'm skipping because he wears nice clothes. He gets onto a beautiful chariot. He is guarded by so many people. All those things are described here. Hence, I'm just skipping this. And so they enter the Mantragraha once again, and then all these ministers, they come and they touch the feet of Ravana, and they do the Sastanga Namaskara, and all of them have now sat in front of Ravana. With this, we end the 11th Sarga of YuddhaKanda. Now, what will Ravana do in this particular sabha? That we are going to see in our next episode. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pasyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet, sarvam sukhi sajmara swam charanarvindarpanamastu. Swasti. Jai Shri Ram.